Hey, what's up? This is Scott with Level Up Tutorials, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you my favorite grid system. Now, this is Cory Simmons' Lost grid. Now, Lost is based on calc, and it uses some really cool techniques to make a next generation grid system. In addition, it also offers some really cool Flexbox grid features as well. So let's get going on installing and checking out Lost. So my personal projects, there's a couple of post CSS packages I'm using on almost every project. So like we've covered auto prefixer before, the other one is Lost by Cory Simmons. Now you may have heard his name before. He's the creator of the Jeet grid along with some other really interesting grids. He has put a lot of care into making this Lost grid system. And honestly, it is my favorite grid. It is my go-to grid. It is the one I want to use, and it makes life easy. So let's go ahead and use this Lost grid with our post CSS. Now you may be wondering why Lost grid is in post CSS rather than Sass or Stylus or Less or anything like that. Now I haven't talked to Cory exactly about this, but from what I understand, it really just makes Lost grid that much more flexible because it's not tied to Sass or Stylus or Less. He doesn't have to update it in 3 different places when he makes a change. He just has to update it once with post CSS, and like I've mentioned in a lot of these videos, you can use post CSS with Sass or Stylus or Less. So he's not making any assumptions about the preprocessor that you use, and you can still take advantage of this awesome grid system. So let's go ahead and install it with npm install --save -dev, and now the package is just Lost, so we can type Lost. So this is going to go ahead and grab the Lost grid for us. Now we can actually throw this into our gulp file just by heading over to Sublime Text, and let's head to our gulp file. I'm actually going to get rid of this pre-CSS, and I'm going to get rid of this next CSS, and I'm going to get rid of this CSS ring. The only one I'm going to keep is auto prefixer. I don't want any of these other ones sort of getting in the way. Here we go, like so. And let's go ahead and add Lost now. So we can say var Lost is equal to require parentheses, and then we can just say Lost. Now we can just wrap that off with a semicolon there. Now we can just add Lost to the list of processors. Now if we come here, we can just simply add this here, put a comma there, and now we should be able to start using Lost. So now I'm going to come back to our CSS that we're editing. I'm going to get rid of some of this next CSS syntax here. Let's get rid of this color and section, these mix-ins and stuff like that. And let's get rid of some more of this stuff here, just so we can declutter this a bit. Now let's go ahead and run our gulp. So we can say gulp watch styles, and it's going to be watching our styles. And as you can see, once we save this, you can see it's all good. So we just have the auto prefixer stuff in here. Let's just show you what comes out when you just use a real basic Lost grid property. So we can just have a div tag here, and we can say Lost-column, and then we can give this a fraction. So let's say we want each of these columns to be 1/2 of the width of its parent. So now when we save this, let's take a look at what's getting generated before we actually get into some HTML and building any practical graphs. You can see that this is using calc, so it's calculating the width here of our divs. So it's going to be 1/2 essentially of 99.99%. And then it's actually subtracting some gutter width stuff here. And as you can see, the nth child n is getting a margin right of 30 pixels, and it's getting floated left. And the last child is getting a margin right of 0, as well as the nth child to n. Now this has to do with the cycle, which is an important part of Lost grid. And by default, Lost uses the denominator of your function to grab the nth child here, basically saying every other div, give it a margin right of 0. Now, if we were to have this as something, as you can imagine, like 1/3, you would want each item to take up of a third, so therefore there's going to be 3 items per row. Therefore, you'd want the third item to have a margin right of 0. Okay, so now just looking at this sort of basic lost column 1/3, it's kind of abstract just saying all this calc stuff. So what we're going to be doing in the next video is building some real life grids. We're going to be showing you the cycle property. We're going to be showing you how you can make some really interesting stuff. And then in a couple of other videos, we're going to be just talking about general features that come with the Lost Grid that don't come with any other grid system. So as always, this is Scott with Level Up Tutorials. If you have any questions or comments, leave a comment in the video or hit us up at Twitter or Facebook at Level Up Tutorials. We love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.